Kelly Drive is the roadway that you see, and the lane closest to the Kelly Drive is lane 1, and the optical illusion there, it appears as though lane 1 is getting a staggered head start.
That's true, because under the bridge it'll all line up. This line of the bows that you see on the right of the boat is the bow is on the right, and the stern is on the, and they're away.
And they're away, and all indications are it is a clean start to the men's Varsity Lightweight 8. Again, going from lanes 1 through 6, Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh, University of Toronto, Drexel, LaSalle, and the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
This crew, as you can see, is having a little trouble. They're rolling back and forth. They're having a hard time getting out of the water. I assume that's Georgia Tech, closest to our camera, and a little bit sloppy out there.
Let's talk about positioning in the boat. Who sits where and why?
The coxswain obviously sits in the stern of these boats. The man next to him, next to the coxswain, who's the little guy steering, he sets the pace, whether they row a 34 or a 40, what it may be. In the middle of the boat, you generally put your heaviest people, just because it makes sense and it balances the boat out. And perhaps your best 2 balance oarsmen might be at bow and 2, bow being the front of the boat.
I like the vernacular for the middle 3 in the boat, the engine room.
That's true. They like that too, but I, having always been a stroke, felt that I did more than anyone else in the boat, but it's not true. It takes 8 people, and everyone knows that. And one weak link in this chain, and one person not carrying their load, and you've got a loser.
Is the stroke always the best rower in the boat?
Well, I've always thought it was either the best rower or the best looking. I'm never sure which.
The guy with the most charisma.
That's correct. Pittsburgh has fallen way back, and the race appears to be between Toronto, Drexel, and LaSalle. It's still a very tight boat race. As you see, they are going to make that turn, and it's where the crews on the right appear to be behind. When they make that turn, they'll make it a lot of it up. But I would say that Toronto is out ahead at this point. In
lane 3, the University of Toronto. Again, the boats in lanes 3 and 4 were the best times in the previous heats, followed by lanes 2 and 5, and finally 1 and 6.
It is definitely, as they come out of the bridge, whoever comes out first is the leader, and Toronto was the first out by about a deck length.
The University of Toronto, the winner this year of the Ontario University Championships.
Toronto's rowing at 34.5 strokes per minute, which is a nice pace at this point, not too high, not too low, and they will be able to come up as in the previous race. They have room to sprint. If you row too high in the body and you get a little tight at the end, there's no place to go.
So generally 3 parts to the race in terms of your strokes per minute.
That's correct. To start, to get the boat moving, and bear in mind you've got about a ton of weight, 2,000 pounds, because the boat and the oarsman and the coxswain all add up to about a ton. To get off, you take a half stroke, 3/4, and then full, and you take them a little higher and a little shorter, because you're sort of pulling a dead boat. And then when you establish your hull speed, then you drop the stroke down and relax a little bit, catch your second breath. And at this point, as they're about 1,000 meters into the boat race, they are evaluating where they are and what to do. And at this point, often a crews will take what they call power 10s or power 20s, little extra sprints to try to take the dominance in this.
Again, in lane 3, the University of Toronto with Drexel right there. Toronto with the lead about halfway through, 2,000 meters, approximately 1.25 miles. And this, the men's Varsity Lightweight 8.
Toronto and the Canadians generally come down here with very strong programs. They have a little bit of a different system with their grade 13 and perhaps some older youngsters. I don't know if it gives them an advantage. That is generally negated by the fact that they have ice up until the time of the day of Vail. But this Toronto crew is rowing very strongly and looking very nice at this point, and well in command.
In attending some practices earlier this week, I noticed one rowing drill where the crew literally shut its eyes as it was rowing down the river, the coach imploring them to feel the boat. What does that mean?
Well, you shouldn't have to look at anything. You should be concentrating on sensing the rhythm and feeling it, and all going in. If you have concentration, and even though this looks like a mindless sport, there is a reason that Harvard wins year after year. They're some of the smartest students in our country, and it is a matter of concentration, a matter of focus, and with your eyes closed, it forces you to focus and feel it a little bit better.
Closing in on Peters Island there to your right, which signifies the 500-meter point, or the last quarter of this 2,000-meter race here in the men's Varsity Lightweight 8 here at the 57th Vail Regatta.
Drexel is doing a beautiful job in this race. Drexel is a program that is up and coming, a Philadelphia group, and their holding second will be a nice thing for them if they can hold on to that second place, as they are in about the last 50 strokes of the boat race.
But holding a sizable lead right now, there you see them, the University of Toronto in lane 3.
Drexel next to them in lane 4 is having to sprint at 41 strokes a minute now to hold off Tennessee over in lane 6. So it is a very tight boat race for second place, and Drexel wants that. They're not worried about Toronto now. They're worried about the silver medal. And
Drexel right now in lane 4 in second place, in line for the silver, but the boat way ahead. In lane 3, the University of Toronto just a handful of strokes now from the finish line here at the Vail Regatta on the Schuylkill, where the sun has come out and it is shining on the folks who have come down from north of the border. So there it is, unofficially, the University of Toronto, the winners. And coming in second, Drexel. And we'll try to get a read on who has come in third.
Drexel will not be unhappy with that effort, nor will be third place, which appears to be University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. That is nice efforts for those schools in this men's lightweight 8, and these youngsters have worked hard to get there, and the fact that Toronto, which has a strong lightweight program, won will not deter their joy in it. There's a look at the wonderful Toronto crew that went away with it, paddling off, trying to get their blood down a little bit at the finish.
We'll be back with more coverage here at the Vail Regatta. 4 of our 6 finals races complete.